Alright guys, welcome back to another Opera Omnia video where we are finally going to be talking about the first BT Plus banners, which is going to be none other than Zidane and Y'shtola. Now, Y'shtola will be getting her LD boards alongside with her BT Plus, and then Zidane will be getting his rework, his LD weapon, and his BT/BT Plus. Now, alongside with both of these two characters, Rinoa and Beatrix will be getting their LD boards as well, and all of these characters will have their crystal level 80s with these banner releases, and everything will be released alongside with the Pandemonium Divine event. So, with that being said, we have plenty to talk about, so there will be timestamps in the description of this video, so that way, if you just want to focus on certain information, you are more than welcome to click over to that section of the video. Also, because I have already talked about both Zidane and Y'shtola's BT Plus and have gone extra in depth with their BT Pluses, I am going to link that video down in the description of the video and also in a pinned comment of the video if you wish to see that, and I highly recommend you do because I have gotten nothing but positive feedback from that video. Please check that out because I will not be talking about their BT/BT Plus abilities, their effects, in this video. I will highly recommend that you check out that video because I really go above and beyond in that video, not only talking about their BT/BT Plus, but also talking about good synergy characters that synergize really well with both of these two characters and a whole bunch of other things as well. And I feel like a lot of my viewers and those who have watched that video can back me up in saying that it is a video that they would probably recommend as well. So if you would like to check that out, again, it will be down in the description of the video and in a pinned comment. But again, everything will be time-stamped and it will be in the description of the video. But let's go ahead and first talk about the LD boards for Rinoa and Beatrix. Then we're going to go ahead and switch over to Zidane and Y'shtola, and of course, the should you pour portion of the video. So if you guys do enjoy the video, consider liking the video and subscribing for future Opera Omnia content. So we'll first start off with Rinoa's LD board, which is called Dog Lover's Dream Extend. So whenever you use her LD ability, it now turns into a 4-hit AoE Magic Brave plus a single target HP attack, followed by a 6-hit AoE Magic Brave plus a single target HP attack, and it also increases Brave potency by a large amount. It also adds the following effects to the Pet's Warmth buff. It improves the Brave regen effect by 30%, now up to 50% of her initial Brave. The self-recovered Brave Max Brave overflow limit up 20%. The party now receives a 20% Brave damage delta and a 10% HP damage delta. And while the Angelo Recover buff is active, the party also receives a Brave damage delta of 20% and a 10% HP damage delta. Also, while the Pet's Warmth and the Angel Wing buffs are active, Rinoa gets a 30% Brave damage delta and a 20% HP damage delta. Also, while her Pet's Warmth buff is active, her Brave Attack plus Angel Wing and her HP Attack plus Angel Wing turn into their plus versions. So her Brave Attack plus turns into a 4-hit Magic Brave plus an HP attack 2 times. It does recover Brave to herself based on 50% of the total HP damage dealt. After the HP attack, it consumes 10% of her own current HP, and it fills her own recast gauge by 20%. And then for her HP attack plus Angel Wing, it now deals a 2-hit Magic Brave plus an HP attack. She recovers Brave to herself based on 50% of the HP damage dealt, then follows up with a 3-hit Magic Brave plus an HP attack 2 times. And then on the last HP attack, she deals 50% splash HP damage to non-targets. She consumes 20% of her own HP, and she also fills her own recast gauge by 20%. Rinoa's LD call ability, the call effects for the caller, which lasts for 3 actions. The caller receives a 20% magic attack up, a 20% brave damage dealt up, a 10% stolen and recovered max brave overflow limit up, and a 10% HP damage dealt up. Beatrix's LD board, something to protect extend, now has a Thunder Enchant effect for herself. Now, while the Noble Loyalty buff is active, she gives herself a Stolen Brave max brave overflow limit up 20%, a 20% recovered brave max brave overflow limit up, and then when a party member is attacked with a brave or HP attack, it triggers her Rose Petal on the target. Now, when the battle begins, it inflicts the Rose Petal debuff to all enemies for 2 actions. When using Shock, which is her LD ability, it now turns into a defense ignoring 6-hit AoE Magic Brave plus an AoE HP attack 2 times, and it increases the Brave potency by a tremendous amount. When using Rose Petal, it turns all Brave attacks into Thunder Element, increases the total Brave hits to 4, it deals 20% splash HP damage to non-targets. Now, while Beatrix is equipped with something to protect extend passive, it adds the following effects to Rose Petal debuff. It now has a 20% defense down, a 20% brave damage taken up, and a thunder resist down. Now, for her LD call ability, whenever somebody calls or uses her call ability, it removes all buffs from the target. It does her LD ability, it does deal splits HP damage, it does recover brave to the party based on 20% of the HP damage dealt to the target. It does grant HP regen to the party except for Beatrix herself for 6 actions, and it does inflict the Rose Petal debuff to the target for 4 actions. Next up is going to be Y'shtola with her LD boards, Unleash Dawn Extend. Whenever she uses her Holy of the 7th Dawn, she got an increase in total Brave hits to 8, she got an increase in Brave potency increased by a tremendous amount, an increased recovered Brave max Brave overflow by 30% now up to 150%, an increase in stolen Brave max Brave overflow by 30% now up to 180%, recovers Brave to herself based on 30% of the total HP damage dealt, increases Blood Lily stacks by 2, so now should be at max stacks by the time she is done using her LD ability. She gets instant turn rate after she uses her LD ability, and she will not count towards the total turn count except during burst mode / summon phase. Now, whenever she uses the Arrow 2 of the 7th Dawn, she increases the Brave recovered based on the initial Brave by 100%, now up to 200%. It turns into a 3-hit AoE Magic Brave plus an AoE HP attack. Then she recovers Brave to herself based on 30% of the total HP damage dealt, followed by a 3-hit AoE Magic Brave plus an AoE HP attack. Then she recovers Brave to the party based on 20% of the total HP damage dealt. She got an increase in Brave potency by a tremendous amount and increases Stolen Brave max Brave overflow limit by 30%, now up to 150%. Now, whenever she uses the Afflatus Misery, she increases the total Brave hits by 3, increases Brave potency by a medium amount, increases Brave recovered based on the initial Brave by 100%, now up to 200%, increases the Brave recovered based on total HP damage dealt after each except last HP attack 50%, after last HP attack 30%, increases the Stolen Brave max Brave overflow limit by 60%, now up to 180%. And she also adds the following effects to her Blood Lily. So when the ally's Brave is above their initial Brave at the start of their turn, it triggers the following effects. The Brave damage dealt up gets increased up to 20%, but to herself is going to be up to 40% for Y'shtola. They also get a 20% HP damage dealt up, and a 20% stolen and recovered Brave Max Brave Overflow. Finally, we ended off with Zidane with his rework. So with his skill 1 Stellar Circle 5, whenever you use it, he gets an increase in stolen Brave Max Brave Overflow limit by 30%, now being up to 150%. Now when you use this plus version, it now turns into a 2-hit AoE melee Brave plus a single target HP attack 3 times, and he recovers Brave to himself based on 20% of the total HP damage dealt after each except for his last HP attack. Now for his skill 2, Free Energy, he gets an additional 2 uses now, so now he has a max usage of 9 for his skill 2. When using his skill 2, after Brave multiplication, he increases the total Brave hits by 2, now being a total of 5. Whenever you use his plus version, before the Brave attack, he deals an HP attack, then he recovers Brave to himself based on 20% of the HP damage dealt. Zidane's LD ability called Solution 9. It cancels the target's break status and follows up with a 4-hit AoE melee Brave plus an AoE HP attack 2 times. Whenever he attacks the target afflicted with the Thief's Mark debuff, he deals weakness damage and he deals split HP damage. After each except for the last HP attack, he recovers Brave to himself based on 20% of the total HP damage dealt. Now he does grant himself the special effect, which is the overhead above him, called A Place to Call Home for 14 actions. And he also gives himself a free ability use on his following turn. Now the special effect, A Place to Call Home, gives him a 20% attack up, a 20% stolen Brave, max Brave overflow limit up, a 20% HP damage dealt up. When against debuffed targets, he gained a 20% Brave damage dealt up. Now whenever he breaks, or whenever breaking a target, he erases the target's next turn. He nullifies his own action delay and grants an additional turn that will not count to the total turn count, except during burst mode, summon phase, or as a friend support. Another turn will not be granted when breaking during this additional turn. So that means that if by chance he does break after he has already broken a target and he already erases that target's turn, it will not erase the target's turn again. You have to wait until Zidane basically like refreshes his turn until his actual next turn comes, and then that's when you can attempt to erase the target's turn again whenever Zidane is able to break the target's turn. Whenever he is able to break the target. But another turn would not be granted whenever breaking during his additional turn, and this also includes during burst mode and only triggers once after it ends. Now, one thing to know is that whenever you are limit breaking his LD weapon at 2 out of 3, whenever or after you use his LD ability, his HP attack turns into HP attack plus Solution 9, which cancels the target's break status. It's a 2-hit melee Brave plus an HP attack. Whenever you are attacking a target afflicted with the Thief's Mark, he is dealing weakness damage. It does not consume ability usage on the following turn, so you are getting a free ability use to your skill 1, skill 2, and C65. He also extends the duration of his own active buffs by 1 action. He does have low action delay, and this does revert back to its previous state after you do use the HP attack plus Solution 9. Now for his LD board, or his LD board, not alone extend. When the quest begins, he starts off with a speed up, a defense up, and the special effect, A Place to Call Home, the overhead above him, for 5 actions. And then whenever you are using his LD ability, It now turns into a 4 hits AoE melee brave plus an AoE HP attack 3 times. He does gain an increase in brave potency by a large amount. He gets an increase in stolen brave max brave overflow limit, now being up to 180% instead of 150%. And he also is able to inflict the Thief's Mark debuff to the targets for 5 actions. And then finally, with his LD Call ability, the caller, after he uses Zidane's LD Call ability for 3 actions, the call effect gives the caller a 20% attack up, a 20% stolen brave, max brave overflow limit up, a 20% HP damage dealt up, and then when going up against debuff targets, also gets a 20% brave damage dealt up. So now we get to the point in the video where you guys decide whether or not it is worth pulling on any of these 4 characters in the upcoming first BT Plus banners for Global. Now, I will say again that if you are wanting to know more about the BT/BT Plus and all the effects on these BT weapons, please check out the video that I have posted down in the description or the pinned comment to this video, because that will really give you a much solid answer on these 2 characters as to whether or not you should green either Zidane or Y'shtola's BT weapon. I go above and beyond with that video. The feedback really is night and day with that video. I mean, like it really will give you a much better answer as to whether or not it is worth greening either Zidane and Y'shtola, just based off of like the extra research that I did for that video to help you out in hopefully deciding whether or not you should green Zidane or Y'shtola. So if you are wanting to check out that video and then come back to this portion of the video, please do that. So that way you know exactly what you are planning to do, unless you've already made up your mind and you just want to continue listening to me. And then, you know, just well, keep listening. So let's move on. Let's talk about Rinoa. So Rinoa with her LD boards, basically, I mean, she got increase in potency, and you know, she got brave damage dealt up, HP damage dealt up. The party does get a little bit of that as well, depending on the buff that is active on her. But other than that, that's pretty much about it. I mean, she did get her LD call, which is great, and that's it. I mean, there's really not much else that I can really say about Rinoa. I mean, like, is she necessary for like any of the upcoming Lufenia fights? In my opinion, not really. And I'm not trying to like downplay her or anything like that, but like, I've personally not really used Rinoa that much. And I mean, like, aside from like the increase in like potencies and the fact that she got brave or an increase in brave damage dealt up and HP damage dealt up, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's really not much that I can say about Rinoa other than like, aside from no changes in her base kit, that's practically it. I mean, there's really not much that I can say about Rinoa. Now for Beatrix though, I mean, Beatrix, the great thing about her, well, not the great thing, but like the good thing about her, great, whatever, either or, same thing. Take it as you will. So with Beatrix, I mean, she did get the Thunder Enchant in her kit now, and the fact that with the Rose Petal debuff, it does have Thunder Resist down, so you pretty much are guaranteed to always be dealing weakness damage with that follow-up attack, which is great, right? And aside from that, though, whenever you have that debuff inflicted now, she is basically, that basically gets triggered whenever a party member is attacked with either a brave or HP attack, which basically opens up to Beatrix being able to do a whole lot more. Now, another thing about her LD ability is that it has that defense ignoring mechanic. And again, I have said this multiple times in multiple videos of mine for previous characters with this mechanic. It is a very powerful mechanic. If you have, if for those who have pulled characters with this mechanic in the past, you can back me up when I say that characters with this mechanic are really, really good and should not be ignored. These are the type of characters that you should at least have a few in your box so that way you can have them in hand for any type of for like certain fights where you need that type of character that you really need to break the whole like brave reduction or high defenses, or just like in general you need help in like trying to shave off like big shields or like big brave gains that the enemy all of a sudden gets, and you need to get that out of the way as quickly as possible. Beatrix is a very good option to pick up. She did get her crystal level 90, and she is freaking nuts now with her crystal level 90. So like, if you already picked up, because Beatrix is another global first LD weapon or LD character. So if you picked up her LD, actually, no, excuse me. Beatrix was a global first character, excuse me, right? Yeah, global first character, right? Yeah. So, and then she got her LD weapon. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong on that. You guys will probably correct me in the comment section below. But if you did manage to get her LD weapon, do note that this upgrade is going to be very nice for Beatrix. And then once she gets a crystal level 90, if you're worried about longevity wise or whatever, for those who are still debating if you're going to be pulling on this banner that is attached to Beatrix's LD, do note that if you do manage to snag Beatrix's LD, it's actually a pretty good pickup because of this mechanic that it has in her LD ability, and that debuff is actually really nice. And knowing the fact that it does have defense now implemented in it, brave damage taken up 20%, and it does have Thunder Enchant / Thunder Impel as well. So do note that it does have a pretty good amount of stuff in pretty much Beatrix's LD ability in general, and like her LD boards just made it like 10 times better in my opinion. So that's it for that. Now with Y'shtola, you guys already know. With Y'shtola, I mean, she is very, very good in terms of fighting against the brave reductions with the brave gains that she has with her kit. But with her LD boards, she basically got increases with the amount of brave hits that she got and whatnot, and the fact that she got an increase based on, because she's all about like initial brave with her kit, right? So the fact that they were able to basically double the amount of like the brave that she is able to recover with her skills, and then whenever she uses like her blood lily, or excuse me, not her blood lily, her afflatus misery, and all, just like basically like most of her skills really, like if you start focusing everything related to initial brave on Y'shtola, best believe you're gonna get the most out of Y'shtola via like her LD, her her afflatus misery, which is what you get after you reach 3 stacks of her overhead. There's a good amount that you get out of Y'shtola, and especially now that she is getting her LD boards, and she now has her BT plus, because she does have a BT weapon now in global, but she is getting her upgrade now once the banner drops. Do know that she is going to be a solid option if you decide that you want to green Y'shtola and you want to make her into a BT plus. I greened Y'shtola to BT plus on my JP account, on my main JP account, and I did not regret it one bit, because she really, really, really helped me out. And a lot of these fights, a lot of these upcoming Lufenia plus fights, have extremely high brave reductions, and like the auras and what Y'shtola provides via her LD ability, via her BT and her BT effect, really do help a very good amount. So I will say that between like both of the 2 BT characters that are featured in this banner, Y'shtola is a very good option for for picking up if by chance you missed out on it on her initial release a couple months ago. Now, finally, for Zidane, now I don't want to like come out and saying like Y'shtola is definitely the top choice, because like both of these two characters are very good choices. Like you will not go wrong with either of these two choices if you choose one or the other, because like with both of these two characters, obviously they both do two different things. And that's why I made that other video that I have already mentioned twice in this video, because like I really want to make sure that I cover not many things, but like I want to cover the basis between like both of these characters and for future BT characters. And so that's why I had made that separate video, because I want to make sure that you guys like know like, hey, these two characters, they covered this, this, and this, but there are other characters that will help you in covering what these two characters do not cover. That's why I made that second video. So with Zidane, his LD ability and the great thing about it is that he is able to not only deal weakness damage as long as he has that Thief's Mark debuff on, which he is able to inflict with his LD ability and with a few of his other abilities as well. But the fact that he is able to cancel the target's break status, and he does have the ability to be able to delete the target's turn, which is a very convenient and unique ability to have in a good amount of situations, unless of course the enemy's their turn is framed. Then you know obviously that will not work. But of course, not every single Lufenia Plus fight is going to have that. But aside from all that, I mean, the fact that he is able to do that is very nice. You do get a free ability use, which is great as well. And then, of course, he does give himself, HP damage delta, brave damage delta, so on and so forth. And the good thing about it, too, is that after you use his LD ability, his HP attack plus solution 9, after his LD ability use, and then on his following turn, if you are able to cancel the target's break status again, you can technically erase the target's turn once again, as long as you are able to cancel the target's break status with his HP attack plus solution 9. So technically, between every single LD usage, you are able to delete twice. So in total, you're able to delete it, because I think Zidane is able to delete turns, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check real quick for you guys, and I will let you know. 4 times, so that would be 8 times that you could potentially delete turns with Zidane, or maybe even more than that, possibly. But at the minimum, you would probably be able to delete it at most 8. So just think about it, you know? Like you can do a good amount with Zidane. Now with his BT effect, again, I'm not gonna get too into it because this video is already getting way too long. I will say that his BT effect complements not only himself but his team, and it really fits his kit entirely too well, in my opinion. If by chance you do go with his with Zidane, and if you do decide to BT plus him, do note that a little bit of support would be good with Zidane. Not that I'm saying that he would suffer without a support character, but the thing is though, like Zidane is mainly focused as a offensive type of BT character, meaning that a little bit of support would actually help him out, so that way he will not lack in a few things that Zidane does not cover. So again, I highly recommend that you check out that video that I have mentioned God knows how many times in this video, so that you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you are wanting a character that is more leaning towards the offensive side of a BT character, provide some offensive BT effects to your team, Zidane is definitely a good option as well. Y'shtola is more on the supportive role in terms of her BT effect, who provides those BT effect gains that will help out against the brave reductions against the enemy. And don't get me wrong, Zidane's BT effect also helps against fighting against the brave reductions as well. Both of these two characters really do help out against fighting against those reductions. So I wanted to make sure that I throw this in there because I don't want to confuse anybody and thinking that, oh, one of these only fights against the reductions and not both of them, I gotta go with that one. No, both of these two characters definitely do their thing, but of course they do need a little bit of a not, I guess in a way, like they do need a little bit of a boost, but in terms of covering a few other bases. Again, that other video explains it all. That's going to be it for the video, guys. I don't want to keep this video too long. I don't think I've ever made a video this freaking long. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know how you feel about these 4 characters and their upcoming changes, their reworks, so on and so forth. And yeah, let me know what your plans are going to be for this upcoming banner. But other than that, that's going to be it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. I'll catch you guys in my next video.